Welcome back to the Means Report, talking to Dr. Craig Albert, political science professor at Augusta University, the director of graduate intelligence and security studies, and we're grateful for his time and expertise. And as I mentioned going to break, Craig, we're talking about the upcoming summit with North Korea. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un saying, look, if you think you're going to have this summit and make me get rid of all my nukes, I'm not going to meet with you. Will it take place? If you had to predict right now, will that meeting take place, and will anything good come of it?
You know my concerns about predicting anything with Donald Trump.
Right, by the time this goes on TV, right. It could be wrong.
And I don't mean that to disparage the president.
No.
I just mean that he doesn't obey establishment rules, which is what he ran on. So kudos to him. Mm-hmm. I think the meeting will take place. I'll go ahead and predict that.
Yeah.
So have me back on the show if it comes true.
Definitely.
And we'll talk about it. But here's what Kim Jong-un said specifically. We will not get rid of our nuclear weapons program as a precondition for the summit in Singapore.
Okay.
So there's some reports out there that the president wants them to completely denuclearize as a precondition for the meeting. Meaning, I won't even talk with you unless you get rid of these nukes, your whole system. And Kim Jong-un says, no, you're not going to dictate terms to us without giving us something in return before we even meet. So that was kind of a non-starter for Kim Jong-un. And that was a result of the National Security Advisor, John Bolton, in a couple of interviews he said last week that Kim Jong-un picked up on. So I think it's going to happen and would be landmark, groundbreaking negotiations if that takes place.
We want North Korea not to be a nuclear threat going forward. What do they want from us? How can we help them?
They want to be secure, so they want what's called a security guarantee. That means that the United States, South Korea, Japan, nobody around North Korea will in fact attack North Korea, offensively attack, cause an act of aggression against North Korea. That's what they've always wanted, they have said. They view all our military exercises that we view as defensive as an aggressive attack plan against them. So they want us to stop all these, what they see as hostile actions from occurring around them. They want a security guarantee, not necessarily that we will protect them in a defense alliance, but that we will never attack them. That's why they started the nuclear arms program, was as a defense deterrent against the United States, because they see us as a hostile actor, just like we see them as a hostile actor. So a lot of people might need to be reminded of this. We're still in an official state of war with North Korea. Mm-hmm. So what that means is that anything could happen that triggers a hot war again, and we've kind of been in a Cold War over the past 60 years since the end of the armistice in 1953.
If we're able to bring stability to the Korean Peninsula, if the president is that Nobel Peace Prize worthy?
Oh, I think so. I would definitely think that if the president was the predominant voice causing these negotiations to take place, I think he would deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, that's going to come with a lot of political heat, and
right.
Partisanship is going to get involved with that in the United States. I mean, this isn't determined by anybody in the United States, but I think if you just look at it objectively and it happens, it could be great. It also could be bad. We have to look at what the overall strategies of everybody involved in with the Korea deal. The United States long-term wants a unified Korea. South Korea wants a unified Korea. North Korea wants a unified Korea. The problem with that is that each side wants a different regime controlling what would be a unified Korea. So we have to be careful. If we create peace, it could create the propensity to be, surprise attacked by North Korea, either diplomatically or literally through military arms, to create a unified Korea under the dictatorship, under the Kim regime.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that when we first started talking about this Russia investigation, that you, and I'm paraphrasing, indicated that it wasn't going to go away, that it would loom throughout President Trump's presidency, and it hasn't gone away. Where do you see this Russian investigation going? And as a part two of that question, do you make anything of this week's transcripts released that showed that the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., met with Russian officials at some level trying to get dirt on Hillary Clinton when his dad was running for office?
What I've said when the initial reports came out of this is still what I think now. Anybody in their right mind that was associated with Donald Trump, candidate Trump, would never have involved him in any manner whatsoever.
Right.
So the investigation has so far resulted in 19 indictments. I think we can predict that it's going to result in more, maybe even with the inner campaign and maybe perhaps Trump's family himself. But any political handler, which Trump has plenty of, and I mean, these are people that are Washingtonian handlers, they understand how politics is played, and some of politics is dirty, as we can tell from this kind of stuff, they would have kept the president completely out of it. So I don't think we'll see anything as drastic as leading to impeachment, though there will always be whispers that, well, if his son knew, or his son-in-law knew of something going on, then he certainly knew. If you can't prove that, then the president's going to be off the hook for that. Objectively speaking, not bringing in partisanship, not bringing in the political party process. What we know, and this might have something to do with Trump's team being non-Washingtonian, meaning they're not a part of the establishment, they didn't do politics as usual. You do generate, hire companies, do data research, crowdsourcing, everything involved with big data against your enemies, political enemies. That is perfectly acceptable. They do it all the time, domestically. To include any foreign resident breaks laws. It could be something as simplistic as they did not understand this and they didn't mean to do anything harmfully, or it could mean they willfully knew what they were doing and sought out Russia to give them information to hurt Hillary Clinton.
Where do we stand on immigration and the president's efforts on that front? And we don't have a wall yet. What are your thoughts?
We don't have a wall yet. Trump needs to get that wall up in some aspect if he's going to win re-election. I've said this for this whole time now that he's been president. He needs that wall for re-election, or at least significant progress being built on the border. It's not happening. That looks bad for him. It might hurt him in the midterm elections against his base. We'll see if they come out to vote. As far as immigration more broadly, Trump's policies on immigration are being thwarted by the courts, dramatically thwarted by the courts. So this could hurt him. It might not, because he'll be able to say, I established executive orders and the courts have completely worked against me. He has a way of, firing up his base and firing up conservatives that's saying the courts are being political, they're overruling, that's not constitutional, that's democratic. Come out to vote in the midterms, come out to vote for my re-election, and we'll get it done somehow by putting more conservative justices in the judicial branch.
So as you've said before, sometimes it is just a matter of him saying, hey, base, I tried, or I'm trying. I'm not getting a lot of assistance here from the courts or from Congress or otherwise. Sometimes just the effort can be enough.
What I wish every political scientist and every political pundit and all citizens could understand is that Trump is a master messenger. He knows how to frame an issue. He knows how to talk to people individually. He knows how to tweet his messages out. And to the people that are going to show up on the polls, he knows how to frame that message. He knows how to use the media against the media to bolster his own image. He's a master at this. So nobody should be downplaying or underestimating what the 2018 midterm elections are going to look like, or what his re-election campaign is going to look like. He already has full re-election campaign movements at the grassroots level happening. That's almost unheard of. That was his first act upon taking office, was reestablishing his re-election campaign, or establishing his re-election campaign. So this is a perpetual election.
Do you see any shocking developments or surprising developments coming out of Tuesday's election? Any Democratic takeover of Congress in any way, shape, or form, or anything noteworthy?
So this will just be the primary election, so it'll be interesting to see in the state of Georgia and nationwide how voters choose. Are they going to, for the Democrats, are they going to choose more progressive Democrats, or are they going to choose more centrist? The same goes for Republicans. Are the primaries going to elect more Trump supporters to office, or are they going to go more centrist, more establishment? So we can really gauge what the Novembers will look like, the general elections, and we can really set an understanding for what to expect from 2020, and who's going to come out to perhaps challenge the president in a Republican primary, which there are rumors about on Capitol Hill that this might happen, which I don't think has happened in any serious detail since Jimmy Carter, I don't think, around that time. And then in the state of Georgia, it's the same type of deal. We don't know who to expect at the polls. We don't know who's going to show up. This is going to gauge what's going to happen at 2018 in November and 2020.
Have you paid attention at all to the mayor's race in Augusta? I know we've been talking about national and international politics. Any thoughts or feelings on that? If you don't have any, that's fine. I just thought I'd ask you.
I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. You'll see an established mayor that has a political career that hasn't caused much controversy, that's done some things for Augusta that a lot of people like. Some things haven't pleased all the citizens, but you have a newcomer to politics challenging him. So you see kind of the Trump phenomena right here locally. That's the big picture that people should really get out of this, is that you have somebody not really involved in politics, at least as running that much, challenging seriously somebody with an established record of governance.
It's going to be interesting to watch those numbers come in, and the numbers from around the country, as you mentioned, in these primaries coming up on Tuesday. Dr. Albert, thank you so much. I had a long list, and we looked at it before the show. We got through about half of it, but the answers and information you provided were great, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Dr. Craig Albert, Augusta University, a friend of the Means Report for sure.